Back in the days of the NES and the Sega Genesis, all the way up to the days of the GameCube, the PS2, and the original Xbox, the only way to purchase and play a game was to get a physical cartridge or a disc and play it the old-fashioned way. Now in the modern era, digital is becoming more and more the preferred way to not only buy, but to also sell games as well. Now, I don't have much problem with that at all. It's just a lot of folks' preference. But due to companies starting to make and market their products pretty much based around that preference, I can't help but feel worried for the future of this industry. Let's have a chat. To begin, let me ask you folks something, specifically my console folks out there. Think about your most anticipated game right now. When it comes out or when pre-orders go live, which version are you going to purchase? The physical version or the digital version? My guess is that more than half of y'all will buy the digital version. I mean, I can't really blame you. The benefits of buying the game digitally are pretty nice. If you pre-order it, you'll be able to preload the game before the release date, so you'll be able to play it as soon as the clock strikes midnight instead of being in line in front of GameStop the night the physical release becomes available. You don't have to get up and change discs, you don't have to keep up with cartridges, and you don't have to worry about having a bunch of cases lying around since it's all on your hard drive. Basically, the convenience of digital games is pretty valuable. So valuable in fact that some folks prefer it so much that companies like Microsoft and Sony have taken notice and started making digital-only systems. That's where my worries begin. You see, the Xbox Series S and the PS5 Digital Edition really just do nothing but put into perspective that digital sales of games have gotten just as big, if not bigger, than physical ones. And it really just gives me the feeling that an all-digital world is a lot more closer than most of us might think. Now let's break this down. What's the problem with an all-digital future anyway? There's a lot of them really, but since I want to get this video out sooner rather than later, let's talk about the three main flaws that tend to stay in my mind a lot. The first is preservation, or the lack thereof. The second is the worrisome amount of power companies gain over the prices of games. And finally, it'd just be really sad to see such a nice format go away. Let's do this in order. If you've ever been on the internet, especially social media for any amount of time, you've probably been told or have heard the quote, once you put something online, it's there forever, or some among them lines. This saying is true, but not for everything. You see, as y'all know, consoles are closed platforms. The only things that have power over them are companies that make the consoles and the companies that make games for them. They have all the power over what goes onto the digital store and what gets taken off. That can be a major problem for us, the consumers, since at any moment in time, any game can get taken off the store and out of our digital libraries, and the only thing you can do about it is just pray that it finds its way back to the store eventually. Something like this actually happened pretty recently. On the 17th of June, the popular indie game Omori had a digital-only launch on the Xbox and PlayStation, but got delisted 2 weeks later on the 30th. And for what it looks like, the game ain't coming back to consoles, pretty much making these versions lost media and completely screwing over the people that bought the game. Since the game never got a physical release, the game is just gone. And speaking of physical, let's talk about it and how it helps in these kinds of situations. Now to begin, I want to get this out of the way because I often see folks talking about this a whole lot. No, game discs don't just come with a license for a game and nothing else. Unless a game specifically says on the box that additional downloads are required after putting a disc in, every physical game comes with the 1.0 version of it on the disc, meaning that as long as you have the disc, you'll always be able to play the game no matter what happens or what the company says or may do. It's that peace of mind that makes having physical games worth it, and an all-digital future will make all that go away. If you only have an Xbox Series S or a PS5 Digital Edition, and someday one of your favorite games get taken off the store for whatever reason, it's not like you can buy the physical version and play it because you ain't got a disc drive, so you just out of luck. Also, I know this will be a really long time from now, but in the future when the digital stores for the Series S and the PS5 go down, unless you have your whole library saved somewhere on a drive, the consoles pretty much turn into paperweights. I know the games from those systems will probably work on future generations of consoles, but still, the thought of my console having such a limited and visible lifespan just doesn't sit right with me in the slightest. And then we have the company I personally think will hurt everyone the most if they went all digital, Nintendo. You see, this might be just me having such a long history with Nintendo systems, but I believe out of all the big gaming companies in the industry, Nintendo's games and franchises are the most loved and cherished by a country mile. And besides the fact that not being able to have a physical library of Nintendo games sucks bad enough, but given what's been going on for the past few years with the Wii Shop channel and the Wii U and 3DS eShops being closed down, an all-digital future for Nintendo can go sour really quick. As we all know, Nintendo doesn't really care much about their older games and libraries and letting us play them unless unless they specifically want to. And if they decided to go all digital, they'd have even more power over that than they do now. Right now, at least we have physical games to make sure that even if the Switch eShop were to close down today, we'd at least have a big chunk of the Switch's library preserved. The other games would still be unfortunately lost to time though. But you might ask, what about emulation? I'd say that's a perfect solution to preserve all the games and to put a patch on this potential problem. But here's the thing, not everyone is into emulation and not everyone has the hardware to emulate optimally. Plus, even if every gamer in the world had a way to emulate delisted games, I really doubt they'd be happy if official means of acquiring games went away. Even though 3DS and Wii U emulation is going well and is getting even better each and every day, people were still pretty mad that the eShops for those systems was closing down. All in all, any way you put it, having the only way to purchase games be from a digital store is bad for us all. Which brings me to my next point. So, have you ever went to GameStop or went on Amazon and found a used copy of a game you wanted for a real cheap price? Cheaper than the digital version has ever been? Well, in an all-digital world, you can kiss all those times goodbye. If physical media went away, all the power over a game's price would be in the hands of the game's publisher, and I highly doubt they drop the price as low or as often as stores and services that sell physical media. For example, back when my main platform was the PS4, I wanted to try the Kingdom Hearts series, but ain't no way I'm paying over $100 for KH1 through 3. But thankfully on Amazon, I was able to find almost the entire series all the way up to this point for only $20. If we lived in an all-digital future, these types of deals would not exist anymore. Or at the very least, they'd be really rare. Basically, the whole thing is, digital equals more power to companies equal to higher prices. It's really that simple and that's about it. Now, if this wasn't super obvious enough, I sometimes think about what it would be like in an all-digital gaming world. It's kinda easy since my main gaming platform is the PC and there hasn't been a physical release on here in over a decade. As much as I love our beloved launcher Steam, it doesn't hold up that much of a candle to having a physical library of games that you built up for part of your life. There's something just so charming about holding the game's case, admiring the box art and the art of the disc, and having a peace of mind that you own that game is just unbeatable. Physical games are the main things I really miss now that I'm on PC. If I wasn't so used to playing games at over 100 FPS, having mods, and having all the access to crazy graphics settings the PC blesses us with, I'd probably go back to gaming on consoles just for the physical copies. They just mean that much to me. Even though I had the convenience of having every game I own in my fingertips and can play any of them simply just by pressing play, I still find getting up and changing discs the old-fashioned way just a lot better personally. Of course it's less convenient, but hey, I like it. In conclusion, physical media is great, period. Doesn't matter if it's physical games, physical music, or physical shows and movies. I hate that physical media as a whole is becoming more and more scarce as the years go by, and since I'm a gamer, it stings the most to see it happen to physical games. Yes, I'm a PC gamer, so I done pretty much gave up physical anyway, but I still don't want to see it ever go away. Heck, I wish more games got physical releases. It'd be cool if the cost of making physical copies were cheaper so even indie devs could have their games launched with physical copies being available day one. It most likely won't happen, but hey, it'd be nice if it did. And that's about it. My apologies for this video taking so long to come out. This is supposed to be a short, quick, and sweet 4 to 5 minute video, but the more I got into the script, the more I had to say. I'm just kinda passionate about this kind of stuff really. But anyway, I hope the wait was worth it. If you liked the video, give it a like, and if you want to hear more of me, subscribe and maybe go watch another one of my videos. Also, I have a Twitter. Give me a follow if you like me that much. Well, that's all for today. Have a good one, folks.